For those of you guys who don't know yet, Dr. Farhan was an intern at Strength Camp in 2015.
Yep. Yep.
Wow, amazing. And time has flied. And Dr. Farhan, of course, is a doctor. It was a
Neuroscience.
Neuroscience, man. And since being at Strength Camp and moving on, you've done a lot of work with guys in terms of testosterone and supplementation. Tell us more about what made you decide that, you know what, helping guys improve their testosterone with supplements was going to be the way to go for you in your life work as a neuroscientist.
So I had my own problems, man. I had low testosterone. It was testosterone was that of an 82-year-old man back in the day when I got it checked for the first time. And so I tried everything, man. I tried to do lifestyle changes. It helped, better sleep, better nutrition, better exercise. All of that helped. But then when I started looking at the herbs, it's just 10x'd it. It just 10x'd the performance. And it's interesting because there's herbs out there. If you get the highest quality stuff in the world, then you can for sure boost your testosterone, especially free testosterone, which is what matters for men. So I just started researching, man. I tried dozens and dozens of herbs, and I made a formula, and it worked for me.
Right. And you have a Facebook. I remember going on a Facebook group where you had the results of all of your customers or case studies where they've actually tested their testosterone, started using the herbs that you suggest, and like their numbers literally went up.
Yeah, man. A lot of people have doubled their testosterone. We have even a few guys who've tripled it. It's rare. Tripling is quite rare. For me, I doubled mine, more than doubled. But what we do is we urge all of our customers to do before and after blood test results. Because look, man, when I first started, I was also reluctant, right? Because it worked for me, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. So the blood tests were essential, especially for me. When I got my blood test results after, and I saw that, it went from 376 nanograms per deciliter to 801 nanograms per deciliter. And I was like, wait a minute, we're on to something here. Because everyone was saying that you can't naturally increase testosterone. So we proved them wrong. And
yeah, I want to talk more about that. I want to talk about the herbs. I want to talk about your supplement. I want to talk about all the things that we can do in order to improve our testosterone. But I think it would be good to backtrack for a minute and talk about the problem of low testosterone and also the problem of how most guys go about trying to improve their testosterone. Why do you think it is that testosterone levels are so low for even young men these days? I have some ideas. I was talking about it earlier, but as a neuroscientist, I'm sure you've got a whole lot of research that you've dived into to figure out why this is the case.
So, man, that's a rabbit hole that I've gone under. Today, what I see is, so first of all, sleep is a big deal for testosterone, right? Because testosterone is produced during sleep. So we see a lot of people who are stressed. They can't sleep at night, right? It takes them hours to go to sleep. People they're not happy. Men are not happy, man. Men are not challenging themselves. This is something we know. Men are not going through the rites of passage, right? And Elliott, I've been going deep recently into lots of books on rites of passage for men. And a lot of my rite of passage I did with you, right? I read Iron John for the third time recently. And I was like, wait a minute. Elliott's like my Iron John, right? Like Elliott was the wild man that I learned from, right? Because I was like, who is my wild man? Oh, it was Elliott. Holy shit, it was Elliott. I did my departure. I said, hey, to hell with my family, to hell with my parents. They don't even trust me, right? They like disown me. So I did my separation. I completely separated myself from the world, and I did my thing. And I think today men are just becoming, society wants men to be weak, right? It's like when I'm outside and I'm walking, I see these kids. They're playing video games. They look weak. They're eating junk food. McDonald's is always full, right? um, and even things like going to the gym and reducing your stress levels and kind of like having a family, like even having a family to de-stress. Because I know many years I was without any relationship. I was single, and not having that love, that bond with someone. This causes a lot of stress, and it
So
causes a
these
lot
are
of.
a lot of lifestyle considerations. I'm surprised to even hear you saying that. Sleep is one that I think a lot of people think about, but you're mentioning purpose in life, rites of passage, relationships. I mean, it sounds like everything affects our testosterone.
Absolutely.
What were your experiences with just not taking any supplements, not using the herbs, and trying to boost your testosterone, with lifestyle changes?
It was good. It was quite good. But the issue is me being a neuroscientist and very nerdy and very obsessed with things. When I learned about all the natural ways to increase testosterone, I went all in, right? I was doing exactly what I needed to do. I dialed in my sleep. I dialed in my exercise. I dialed in my nutrition, and I was obsessed. But most people can't do that.
Yeah.
Right? It's not tangible for people. It's too hard. But the herbs make things much easier because they're so strong, and people are able to transform quickly. Whereas if you do a natural transformation without any herbs, it will take a lot longer, and it took me a lot longer when I first started. But
So
it
we
can
all
be.
know that when your testosterone levels are low, energy levels are low, depression is high, your ability to build muscle decreases, your ability to burn fat decreases, there's more body fat, there's more anxiety, there's more depression, less motivation, low sex drive. I mean, all the things that suck and all the things that many men are dealing with on a daily basis today. What was it like for you after implementing the herbs? How did, not just the numbers change, but how did your life change?
The first thing is I started. There was a new level of me loving challenges, right? So back in the day when I was when I first started, it was like, oh man, like, do I really have to go to the gym? Like, do I really have to eat this food? Like, can't I just do the easy thing, eating Taco Bell every day? Can't I just do that? But once the testosterone started going up, I became a different person, because now there's this concept of limbic friction, right? This concept of where you almost want the challenge, you thrive in the challenge. So
Right.
then when a new challenge came, like, oh, starting a new business, or going to approach that girl who I really like, or standing up for myself against friends or colleagues or anyone, even my parents. I had this new level of confidence, and and another thing, Elliott, it wasn't something like aggressive. It was more calm. It was
Yes.
grounded. Whereas in the
Yeah.
past, it would have been very out of line, very insecure type of aggression. Because if you increase testosterone, your cortisol can increase at the same time. And that's how people get in bar fights, and that's how, the roid rage and these
Oh.
concepts. So that's the thing with the cool thing with testosterone is it's like an amplifier, right? It's gonna make everything go up. So if you're aggressive, testosterone makes you more aggressive.
It just
If
makes you
you're
more who you are.
it makes you more of who you are.
Why not take TRT?
I was scared shitless, bro. Just
Yeah.
gonna be honest. I was just scared. I've been trained as a child to be very reluctant of everything. I always questioned, like, why this, why that. And I still remember when I was a kid back in Pakistan, the first time I was offered a cigarette, I vividly remember, I was like 5 years old. I walked into a store to get something for my mom. And the guy, 30, 40-year-old dude, went like this with his cigarette. He put it out of his mouth and offered it to me. Elliott, I ran home, man. So I just intrinsically, I'm very reluctant. So when the TRT, when my friends and other people, even my colleagues, they push TRT on me, like, hey man, do this. We're doing it. Why not? And I'm too stubborn, man. I'm just stubborn. And I was like, hey, nah, I just can't. Like,
Yeah.
I just can't risk it.
Right.
What will happen to my fertility? What? Of course, it's not like 100% of cases where you fertility is stopped. It doesn't happen.
Right.
Like, you can always get it back and so on. But I just couldn't risk it. I didn't want to go on it for life, right?
So it's sort of a mix between like the moral stance. You didn't want to do anything that was bad, right? You didn't want to be a bad boy, but then also you're concerned about the side effects.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of the guys that?
Yeah.
Have you seen somebody? Have you seen any of your patients or any of your clients or customers come off of TRT because the side effects were just too much? It was just kind of like making things worse.
Yeah. In fact, we have a lot of customers. I don't know the percent of all the customers, but they want to get off TRT, so they get on Afro-D as an alternative to TRT. In fact, there are papers out there that compare Tongkat Ali as an alternate treatment to TRT. So, I mean, it's of course, if you look at all the cases and you want to increase testosterone quickly, TRT is the way, of course, no doubt about it. But if you want to do something sustainable, something natural, something that will keep you calm and give you all the other benefits for life, then it's got to be the herbs.
Absolutely. Okay, cool. I get it, man. So you guys are aware, I always talk about it, back in the day, a couple years ago, I was using TRT, and I also knew about what Dr. Farhan was doing with the herbs, and he was so kind to send me several bottles of Afro-D, which is the name of his supplement. And since coming off it, I have been on and off with Afro-D, but I'm going to go get a test again this April. I started up with the Afro-D again this year. I just been kind of, I go on and off with using certain supplements and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, every time I'm on it, you use the word calm. I definitely feel like a calm confidence, not like a big bravado confidence. It's more like just I feel alpha. I don't know how else to say it. Like, I just feel like, hey, I'm in charge, but I don't have to prove it. I don't have to work hard to be in charge. I noticed that. So I don't know the exact numbers, my testosterone, but that's one thing I noticed. And the other thing I noticed is dick hardness. Gotta straight up say it, brothers. So, after I came off of TRT, my erections just weren't staying. It was funny. And I don't know if it was because of the side effect, but I was getting erections, but they just wouldn't stay. It would be there for a little while, and then it'll go away. And sometimes, I'm soft before insertion. When I started using Afro-D, it was like, oh, this sucker won't go away. It won't go away. So I can tell you for sure that I got some anecdotal experience with Afro-D. And what I'll do here is I'm going to share a link with you guys. I'm going to let Dr. Farhan tell you a little bit more about Afro-D, which is his proprietary blend of herbs that he's talking about that will help you, feel like a calm alpha and have big, hard boners that last. How does that sound? Cool. So we got a link there. It's Afro, APHRO-D.com. And I put a link here. Let me see if I could pin it for you guys. How do I pin these? Actually, I could just do this right here. There you go. So it's on the screen. You can see it there. And it's also inside the chat. So what is Afro-D? What's in it? And why did you choose the particular herbs that are in there, man?
Yeah. one thing I will say, Elliot, is the calmness that you feel. This is something a lot of customers have told us about, and I feel the same way. And it's because there's we call it the X factor of Afro-D. There's an ingredient called pearl powder, and it's the only food grade pearl powder in the world, and we get that one.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, it's so essentially a lot of guys, they take Tonkat Ali on its own, and that's a mistake, because if you take Tonkat Ali, it's a very hot herb, right? Herbs have different temperatures: hot, cold,
Why
warm.
do people take? I've heard a lot about Tong Ali. Why do people take that anyway? What's the big deal with that herb?
Yeah, so Tonkat Ali is the most studied herb when it comes to boosting testosterone. The tribes in Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, they've been taking this for thousands of years.
Huh.
It's called traditional Chinese medicine, right? This is one of the top herbs in this tradition. And Tonkat Ali, because of the science out there, people trust science. Obviously, they should, because that's how we get randomized controlled trials. We have double-blind, placebo-controlled studies. And for Tonkat Ali, there's probably more than 25 studies, maybe even more than 30. But last time I checked, there were more than 25 studies. And what's interesting about Tonkat Ali is these studies, they've identified a band inside of Tonkat Ali that is responsible for the increase of testosterone. So all Tonkat Ali is not created equal, right? So if you go on Alibaba and you get Tonkat Ali, it's going to have contaminations. It's not going to be pure. It's not going to be from the rainforest, which has the Tonkat Ali, which the studies have used, right? So the 25 studies out there, they're using a Tonkat Ali from Malaysia.
Mm.
It's from one of the rainforests of Malaysia. We get our Tonkat from there. And it's not cheap, right? You get cheap Tonkat Ali, it ain't going to work.
Interesting.
Because that's not what's been scientifically proven to boost testosterone. So what we've shown in our third-party testing is that band of Tonkat Ali that boosts testosterone, that is in our Tonkat Ali. So Tonkat Ali is one of the 4 ingredients of Afro-D.
And so studies have shown that taking Tenkali actually increases testosterone. There are a lot of testosterone boosters out there that simply don't work. And even if they do have Tonkat Ali, if they're of a poor quality, it still won't work. So that gives a lot of the herbs a bad name, right? Like people hear herbs right away and they're like, I don't know. But that's because there's a lot of bad guys out there selling the cheap stuff or just ineffective, unscientifically sound stuff.
Yeah, we kind of got lucky there, man, because finding the right supplier for Tonkat Ali is very difficult. Like you got to know people, man, and they hide these secrets. Like it's like hidden stuff, like mafia shit. So we were lucky enough to find that guy, and now we have a very very, very good relationship with him. But even if you get the right Tonkat Ali, if you don't balance it with pearl powder, and the other there's two other ingredients we have in there, but Tonkat Ali has to be balanced with pearl powder, because Tonkat Ali on its own, first of all, if you take Tonkat Ali on your own, you're going to have to cycle, right? 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on.
Oh, is that right?
Yes. And when I first started, I didn't want to do that because I was like, why would I go 2 days without these benefits? It makes no sense. So one of my key objectives was I have to find something to balance Tonkat Ali so I could take these herbs every single day for the rest of my life, because I want the benefit for the rest of my life.
Right.
And so Tonkat Ali is balanced with pearl powder. And then one of the ingredients is called Schizandra berry. Schizandra, it's certified organic. It's the only organic farm in the US. We get it from there. And Schizandra is more for blood flow. So even though Tonkat will increase testosterone on its own, I wanted something in there, an adaptogen, that can specifically trigger nitric oxide production.
Is this why the boners are getting so bony?
Yeah.
Got
It's
it. That's like almost like Cialis, right? Like the same sort of response in the body, nitric oxide.
Right. Exactly. And the Viagra Cialis, they work a little bit different. They inhibit an enzyme that makes you limp. But ours is increasing nitric. It's increasing the blood flow at the source. And that's why. And for me, when I first started, my main goal was better sex. That was my main goal. It wasn't, I was like, why am I boosting my testosterone? Why am I boosting my nitric oxide? It's for bedroom performance. That was my bottom line. And I got all the other benefits with it, thank God.
And you're looking far more jacked than the skinny fat Farhan I remember from Strength Camp. You even got veins in your shoulders there, man.
Thanks, man. Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot.
How old are you now?
43.
Wow. Yeah, right up our alley, man. Yeah, after 40, looking great, feeling great. You recently got married too, right?
Yes, I did, man. Best thing I ever did in my life.
Yeah. Are you guys thinking about having children?
Yeah, man. God willing, any day she'll get pregnant, and then we're going to the next adventure, next hero's journey.
That's great. That's great. So you don't have.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Tell me about the next adventure. You were going there.
I just wanted to thank you because I remember when I came to Florida to have lunch with you, this was one of my main questions. I was asking you. I was saying, hey, I did this whole pickup thing and all these opportunities with different women, and now I got the girl of my dreams. What do you recommend? And then with the advice you gave me, it was clear, man. It was like I was like, of course, I got to do this.
Yeah,
this is it. I got to commit, and I got to go all in. Because if I don't go all in, I'm not in. There's no halfway, right?
Yeah, I love marriage and family, man. I come from a great big family. My parents are together, and same thing with my wife and I. So it's definitely one of those values that I hold dear to my heart. Whenever I hear, things don't work out well for a lot of people, it's tough out there. But if I hear two people that have found, who they think is their life partner, like that's it for life. You're not trying, you're not testing, you're not bouncing from partner to partner, giving it a go. And you're like, this is the person I want to spend my life with, man. I say, go all in, do it. And I'm happy to hear that that's working for you. And so you're thinking about, or you're working towards having children. And that may be one of the reasons why. Well, first of all, you're in a good place because you never went on the TRT, which could have lowered your sperm count. But then there are guys that, they get on the TRT, they get on the testosterone, and now they want to have children. They got to come off of it. So that kind of dovetails into the question that just came in from Carl Silverberg about guys that have been on the hard stuff. He says all the hard stuff for 10 years, and he wants to come off. What kind of advice do you have? There are guys that might want to come off. What do they do?
Well, first of all, have a whoever your doctor is who's prescribing TRT. It would be best if he was with you, like if he was with you on this journey, because I see a lot of doctors. One of my customers, Andre, he doubled his testosterone. He got over 1,000 nanograms per deciliter, all 100% natural with Afro-D. He's one of our coaches as well in the Afro-D Academy. Wow. And the guy's a beast, man. And he recorded a phone call with a TRT clinic because he had to go to a TRT clinic to get his just to get his blood test results, right? Because he lives in Utah. It works a different way. So he had to go to this TRT clinic to get his blood test results. And then the guy called him and said, hey, your blood tests are looking great. You got 1,000 nanograms per deciliter testosterone. Your free testosterone is also great. He doubled his free testosterone as well. And but you know what? You could do better. You should consider TRT. So he has this recording with this sales guy. It's made me so angry listening to this phone call because the guy had no sense, no morality, no ethics. He was just, oh, this guy's healthy. He's doing great, but I'm still going to sell TRT to him. So I would recommend, Carl, whoever your doctor is, make sure he's on board. Make sure he's like not against you, trying to just get the maximum money out of you. Once he's on board, he can recommend some kind of tapering. Because I don't have experience in this, but from my customers, if you go off TRT cold, you're going to get back on. It's like yo-yo dieting. Like you want to taper off because TRT is sort of an addiction, right? It's kind of an addiction too. So taper off, have your doctor be with you 100% of the way. And as you're tapering off, consider Afro-D, right? Balance those two. A lot of our customers do that. They taper off of TRT, add in Afro-D, and then eventually no more TRT.
Gotcha. And so so you're saying Afro-D could be a good, like, should you start taking it while you're on it and you're tapering off, or something you should take afterwards?
I think you can take it while you're doing TRT, because it's think of it like if you're 100% TRT, 0% Afro-D today, what you want to do is slowly get to no TRT and full Afro-D. And the other thing is herbs, it's not an overnight. Like herbs, they take time to build into your system. I mean,
okay, so about how long does it take for Afro-D to kick in and start working?
Depends. So I'll give you, I'll give you some examples. I've seen 70-year-old customers who did not have morning wood in like 4 decades, literally like 3 or 4 decades of no morning wood. And they got it that first week. We've had crazy case studies like that. First week, the guy's like, my wife could not believe that I finally had morning wood. So we have those cases. We also
come feel this, wife. Come check this out.
Yeah. You know, it's a great relief, man. For me, because my main goal was the sexual performance. And when I became successful, I'm telling you, man, there's no better feeling like it. Like when you can not be in your head and not be anxious with your partner, when you feel comfortable and you can be in the moment and present and not worry of like what's going to happen in 5 minutes or in 10 minutes or in 20 minutes.
Right.
You're not worried.
Yeah. Going limp. It locks it in. It locks the boner in.
Yes.
And that's the one experience I could say 100% sure that I experienced when I used Afro-D. The other one, and I'm reading your website right now, and you guys can click the link if you just want to check out the website. We're considering trying it. Please do. I also did notice that my balls got bigger. My testes grew. Now I knew I was, I've gone back and forth between sunning my balls with the red light and using the Afro-D. And even when I'm not doing the light, bigger balls, bro. And is that because there's more testosterone? Is it more production? Why do your nuts get bigger?
So this is not often the case. I think you did. We've had reports of bigger balls, no doubt. You go on our Facebook group after the academy, people say, "Hey man, my balls are bigger." So the cells inside the testicles, the Leydig cells, they produce testosterone. And the mechanism that has been proposed, we don't know yet, because unfortunately with herbs, big pharma can't make money. So they're not gonna spend $10 million, $20 million on a trial to see if Afro-D works, because, well, we'd have to spend that money. The big pharma ain't gonna do it.
Right. Yeah. And because it's unregulated, like you said before, you can get a lot of bad stuff that just doesn't work. If they're doing trials, they're doing studies, like, do you know if they're using the good stuff or the bad stuff? It's very tricky.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a case by case basis. Um, yeah. And one other thing I'll say, Elliot, is the balls increasing, the Leydig cells, if the number of Leydig cells inside the testes, if they increase, then the balls will get bigger. And
Okay.
that's the mechanism that has been proposed in the literature. And again, we don't
Right.
know, unfortunately. But I would guess that's what's happening. You just have more cells. You have more
Very
cells,
cool.
it's gonna be bigger.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with having bigger balls. More testosterone, bigger balls, harder boners. Oh man, we're talking with Dr. Farhan here about all the great things, including, what higher T does, normal even T does for a guy over 40 who wants to build muscle, look great, feel great, have energy, ditch the anxiety, ditch the lack of confidence and all the things that kind of suck as you get older, or just living in our society where hormone disruptors are everywhere, ever present, and it's making things tough. So you guys can go check out, if you're interested in trying it out, give it a go. Do your own clinical at-home study. See if you're struggling at all. Give some Afro-D a shot, afrod.com. The link is in the chat. And Dr. Farhan, you're also, you wrote a new book. What's your new
Yeah.
book about, brother?
Yeah. Many years in the making. I basically looked at the literature, and I looked at what do men need today? Like what aspect of men's health is missing in the world? And the conclusion I came to is hormones. Men don't understand hormones, right? When there's this stigma, like, oh, hormones, that's a woman thing. Oh, PMS, right? That's like that's estrogen. Like, men don't want to talk about hormones.
Yeah.
But the interesting is the title of the book is The Brain Body Connection. And me being a neuroscientist, a lot of people weren't aware that everything starts in the brain. Testosterone production starts in the brain. Human growth hormone starts in the brain. IGF-1 starts in the brain. Basically, everything starts in the brain. There's an area of the brain called the hypothalamus. And it's my favorite area. It's where testosterone production starts. And there's little mitochondria in those cells, and they start the synthesis of testosterone. The mitochondria also give you energy. It's a big topic now, right? Everyone's talking about mitochondria, but they don't really necessarily understand what it is. So I wanted to write this book for men specifically, tell my story, what I've been going through in the last 10 years, where I came from. I do a lot of case studies of all the customers that have gotten transformations. And I go into the details of how the brain and body are connected. When you eat something, your digestive system absorbs those nutrients. Well, what is the brain doing? How are those signals going to the brain? How do you feel full? How do you feel hungry? What is happening in the brain when you're having sex? What is happening in the brain when you want to do something very challenging? What are all those the interplay of all those hormones is the brain body connection. So yeah, man, it was hard. It was very hard because nothing like this really exists. There's a lot of little pieces of the puzzle, but no one put it all together until now. So
what's the name of your book?
The Brain Body Connection.
Is it available yet?
It is available. It's free basically right now. So if you go on the website, you just pay shipping.
What's the website?
Can I send it to you later? It's a long thing because
I'll tell you what, you and I will do this again. We'll do another show and we're going to talk all about your book because I can't wait to read it. I'm going to read it, we'll highlight. I have a bunch of questions and we'll do a whole show just on the brain body connection. I love it. Yeah,
it's brainbodyconnection.com/new-book. So
okay.
It's long.
Brainbodyconnection.com/new.
Brainbodyconnectionbook.com/new-book. But we'll
awesome.
do.
Cool. I'll get a link and I'll make sure that I add it to the recording. Cool. Dr. Farhan, thank you for joining us, man. This has been awesome. We're going to get you back on the show, talk about the book. And if you guys want to try out Afro D, go to afrod.com, check that out. And I guess you'll have a D that is afroed up, big head. Big old D. Very cool, man. All right, Dr. Farhan, we'll talk to you again soon. I'm going to remove. How do I? There we go. Cool. And I'm just going to say goodbye to you guys. Let's see. I'm getting used to all these buttons and how to use this. Good. Hey, guys, thank you for joining me for the first Yo Elliott show we did live here on YouTube. And maybe I'll be back later on next week. You guys let me know if you enjoy this. And I'll talk to you next time. Stay strong. Keep lifting heavy. Take Afro D and build your testosterone, bros. Good night.